Israel has continued its bombardment of the Gaza Strip as Palestinians fast during the first day of Ramadan. Palestinians observing Ramadan in the face of famine, with Israel restricting the entry of food into Gaza. Hamza Mohammed reports.
Palestinians fasting in Gaza have never known a fast day of Ramadan as tough as this one. When they are not avoiding getting killed in Israeli strikes, they are looking for food that they either cannot find or afford to buy.
I'm 71 years old and I have never experienced a Ramadan like this. It's an awful feeling. During previous Ramadans, I used to prepare the dining table to eat at sunset, but today there's no food and I don't have money to get food to break our fast.
Nearly 2 million Palestinians have been displaced across Gaza since early October. They are sleeping in makeshift camps, wondering how they will break their fast.
If the first day of Ramadan is tough on us, how will the second and the third day be? We're calling for a ceasefire, not a temporary humanitarian truce or anything else. We want to go back to our homes. We want to live the spirit of Ramadan like every year. We want to decorate our homes and feel the joy of Ramadan.
Ramadan is a time to host family and friends to break fast and pray together. But Israel's relentless bombardment has made that impossible.
I wish that the airplanes will strike me and I will die. It will be better than this life. Where are the Arab nations? Where are the Muslim nations?
As the first day of Ramadan ends in Gaza and Palestinians break their fast, they are hoping that their prayers for ceasefire will be answered. Hamza Mohammed, Al-Jazeera.
Well, the number of Palestinians who have starved to death has now risen to 25. Hind Kadari reports from Deir al-Balah, where Palestinians who do have access to food are now forced to break their fasts amidst the rubble.
This is how Palestinian families are spending the first day of Ramadan, having iftar on the rubble of their bombed houses. According to Abu Mustafa's family, they told me that this Ramadan was not very different because they already had one meal per day since 5 months. Thousands of Palestinians are spending one of the toughest Ramadan in Palestine and in the Gaza Strip, as 30,000 Palestinians have been killed since October 7. Hundreds of families are separated from beloved ones, others have been killed, and others have been also arrested. A very sad Ramadan this year on the Gaza Strip. This is Hind al-Khudari, Al-Jazeera, Deir al-Balah.
Well, Tariq Abu Azoum is in Rafah in southern Gaza. He describes the difficulties faced by Palestinians this Ramadan.
The most difficult month right now for Palestinians, not as usual, in fact, because Palestinians have been right now away from the houses, living on the unrelenting bombardment. And today what we have been seeing in Palestinian markets was completely shocking, as Palestinians are not only surrounded and trapped by the Israeli forces, but also by the skyrocketing prices in terms of the very severe shortage of all food supplies. These skies are completely skyrocketing as people are not yet being able to afford the basic food items. We have been seeing today how people were sunbathing and try to crowd and to line up for long hours. Just took from us 5 hours in order to get our breakfast today amid the ongoing food shortage that Palestinians are completely suffering from. And people are saying that Palestinian traders are also using this in order to get money. And this is absolutely terrifying, as the situation is getting worse on an hourly basis. And at the same time, religiously, the situation sounds really dire, as the majority of mosques in Gaza have been leveled to the ground, where people were not be able again to worship as they have been doing in the past few years, because of the great and unrelenting bombardment that is unfolding them. As today also more than 70 Palestinians have been killed within the past 24 hours. And this is also terrifying because this scenario will be multiply repeated on a daily basis if the war continues.
Meanwhile, in occupied East Jerusalem, worshippers performed evening prayers at the Al-Aqsa Mosque on the first day of Ramadan. 35,000 people were allowed into the compound despite a heavy Israeli police presence. It comes a day after young men were denied entry into Al-Aqsa, which is the third holiest site in Islam. Hamda Salut is outside Damascus Gate in occupied East Jerusalem.
Palestinians in occupied East Jerusalem are marking the first day of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, but it doesn't come without hardship. Here at Damascus Gate, there is a heavy security presence, and Israeli forces have deployed in large numbers in and around the Old City, leading up to the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Now, Palestinians are afraid that they will be denied entry into the holy site. We saw this last night when there were heavy Israeli restrictions, where hundreds, if not thousands, of young Palestinian men were denied entry into the Aqsa compound. But tonight it seemed that more worshippers were allowed in, and that's because Israeli authorities have said that they are not going to limit the amount of worshippers for the first week at least. But that could change based on a security and situational assessment. Here at Damascus Gate, though, Palestinians are gathering in somewhat of a tradition during the nights of Ramadan. But there are no decorations, there aren't a lot of festivities, and that's because of the war on Gaza, where Palestinians are still under relentless Israeli attack. Hamda Salut, Al-Jazeera, occupied East Jerusalem.
The war in Gaza has left many hospitals out of service. The few that remain are facing severe shortages of medicines, supplies and medical staff. They're struggling to treat the sick and the injured. And as Axel Zemovich reports, it includes patients who are on kidney dialysis.
Patients suffering from chronic kidney disease are dependent on life-saving dialysis treatment. That's under threat because of Israel's siege on Gaza.
3 members of my family must have their blood cleansed. The journey itself to the hospital is a challenge. A shortage of food and nutrition and a lack of clean water add to our suffering. We are losing weight and are hit with fatigue and exhaustion. Many patients are now in a dire need for blood transfusion, which is not available.
The Gaza Strip has 1,100 patients with chronic kidney disease who need 3 treatments a week. Al-Shifa Hospital in northern Gaza is one of the few hospitals still operating. But many patients have to travel long distances to get there. Delays in treatment mean more complications.
It is common knowledge that absence of dialysis leads to the buildup of toxins in the patient's bloodstream. This disturbs the body's acids and fluids. This is caused by many factors, power being cut off, as well as the water desalination plant coming out of operation, amid absence of clean, fresh water.
Patients also say they are desperate and in dire need of help. With food and medical supplies running out fast, their survival depends on that help arriving soon. Axel Zemovich, Al Jazeera.